So the goal here is going to be to create a completely randomized test so that every student in the class gets their own version of the test. And what I've started off here with is a spreadsheet with my students' first names, and that's the only column I'm showing for right now, but there's another column with their last name, their ID number, and their email address. And so the goal of this is going to be, for each problem on the test, we're going to randomly decide what the prompt will look like and what the multiple choice answers will look like. And then we're going to also put the multiple choice answers in a random order. So we're trying to randomize everything about this test. So I'm doing this, creating this test as a retake for my AP Stats students. And this is the canned, one of the canned versions from the test bank that is supplied with the textbook. And I like the test in the textbook a lot. The problem is that a lot of the problems on the tests are out there on the internet with solutions. So here's how I'm going to start my randomization process on this first problem. I'm just going to create a column called 1rand. And for right now, it's just going to be a random number between 1 and 4. And then I'm going to do something randomly with the prompt from problem 1. So to do this, I'm going to use the switch command in Excel. I'm going to switch on the expression that's in E2, so that's the random number that I just decided. And if that random number is the number 1, then we're going to display prompt 1. And if that's the random number 2, then we're going to display prompt 2, and so on. And for prompt 4, I might get ambitious and do more than this, but that's all I'm going to do for right now. So every time I press a key in one of the other cells, that randomization is redone. And for starters, the first round of randomization that I want is the randomization. The first randomization that I want is going to be the actual original way the problem was written. So in place of this generic prompt 1, I'm going to paste that text there. So if they are randomly chosen to get prompt 2, then we'll have to work on that, but prompt 1 is going to look like that. So then what I think I would like to do for the other prompts is we're going to copy this and put that into prompt 2, and also put it into prompt 3, and also put it into prompt 4. What we're going to do is we're going to change each of those prompts. So notice that the first prompt has age, gender, number of years at the current address, favorite school subject, and whether they plan to go to high school, whether they plan to go to college after high school. So that's fine for prompt 1. For prompt 2, we're going to take out the number of years that they've lived at their current address, so that prompt 1 is going to ask for age, gender, years, subject, and college. Prompt 2 is going to ask for age, gender, subject, and college. Prompt 3 is going to ask for age but no gender, and still subject and whether or not they go to college. And prompt 4, we're going to take out this thing about college. So I'm going to bring over a little note here for me to write on. just to remember what I've done here. So prompt 1 is age, gender, number of years. So that's 2 quant, age and number of years, and then gender, subject, and whether they plan to go to college is 3 qual. Prompt 2 is age, so we're only going to have 1 quant, and then we have gender, favorite subject, and whether they plan to go to college, so 3 qual. Prompt 3 has their age and the number of years they've lived at their current address, so that's 2 quant, and then their favorite subject and whether or not they plan on going to college, so that's 2 quant and 2 qual. And prompt 4 is their age and the number of years, so that's 2 quant, and then their gender and their favorite subject, so that's also 2 qual. It's 2 qual, but that's a different 2 qual. And actually, just to make sure these are all 4 different, let's take gender out of this last prompt, so that now that last prompt is going to be age and number of years, 2 quant, and favorite school subject, so 1 qual. So we got 4 unique prompts there. Okay, so I think that's good for that. Then we're going to look at what our answer choices should be based on those prompts. So let's go look at what the original answer choices were. And so we're going to say let's do 1 multiple choice A, 1 multiple choice B, 1 multiple choice C, 1 multiple choice D, and 1 multiple choice E. So the multiple choice answers are going to change depending on what the prompt is that they have gotten. So each of these is also going to be a switch based on the number that is randomly chosen in E2. And if that's a 1, then I want answer 1. And if it's a 2, then I want answer 2. And if it's a 3, then I want answer 3. And if it's a 4, then I want answer 4. So I've got 4 different possibilities for multiple choice answer A, depending on this randomization that's carried out in E2. So I've got 4 different answers to appear in spot A, depending on the random number that's chosen in E2. So what I like to do, and you'll see why this is going to be beneficial later on in the process, I like to make, by default, answer A be the correct answer. So in this original version of the problem, the correct answer is 2 quant and 3 qual. And in the language of this problem, it looks like the qual is called categorical. So I want the correct answer. Let me bring this up here so I can see. So again, A is going to be the correct answer. And if the random number is 1, then the correct answer should be 2 quantitative variables and 3 categorical variables. And then let me copy that and paste it into the other spots so that we can subtly change those answers. Okay, so if they got prompt 2, then I want the correct answer to be 1 quantitative variable singular and 3 categorical variables. If they got prompt 3, I want it to be 2 quantitative variables and 2 categorical variables. And if they got prompt 4, I want it to be 2 quantitative variables and 1 categorical variable. So that's what I would like those different answers to look like. So if they get prompt 1, the correct answer is 2 and 3. If they get prompt 2, the correct answer is 1 and 3. If they get prompt 4, the correct answer is 2 and 1. So that's our correct answers. Now let's copy all of that over here. And when I copied, it went to F2, so I want to make sure we're changing this based on E2. So now for the first wrong answer, I'm going to make this just as this problem does, we're just going to make it all quant. So if they got prompt 1, then that's 5 total variables. So we're going to say 5 quantitative variables. And if they got prompt 2, then it'll say 4 quantitative variables. If they get prompt 3, it'll also say 4 quantitative variables. And if they get prompt 4, it'll say 3 quantitative variables. So our first distractor, if they get prompt 1, it'll say 5 quantitative variables. If they get prompt 2, it'll say 4 quantitative variables. If they get prompt 3, it'll say 4 quantitative variables. If they get prompt 4, it'll say 3 quantitative, this is not right, 3 quantitative variables like that. Okay, and then once again, I want to make this rand again. And again, if you wanted to get creative, you could make this 5 or 6 different prompts, or if you wanted to be less creative, you could just make it 2 different prompts. Okay, so my first distractor is now changing. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy what I have for the correct answers, and I'm going to shuffle them for these other 3 distractors. So when they get prompt number 1, I want the first distractor to be the correct answer to prompt number 2, which I think this will achieve if I make this 1 and this 2 and this 3 and this 4. Okay, then I'm going to copy all of that and come over here and paste, and I'm going to do something similar. So I want this next distractor to be the right answers for the wrong prompts. So I'm going to cut this and place it at the end, and then redo my numbering 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then I'm going to copy all of that one more time and paste here. And again, take this first one and move it to the end. There, and then change my numbering here to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so when the prompt number is 1, this is what they're going to be presented with. Okay, so when the prompt number is 1, age, gender, number of years, favorite subject, and whether they plan to go to college. And the first distractor is 2 quant and 3 categorical, which is the correct answer. The next distractor is 5 quant. The next distractor is 1 quant and 3 cat. The next distractor is 2 quant and 2 cat. And the next distractor is 2 quant and 1 cat. So all of those distractors are wrong. The correct answer is 2 quant and 3 cat. But now watch if they get prompt 2. Look at how this changes now. Let me copy all of this. If they get prompt 2, which is age, gender, subject, and whether or not they go to college. So age, gender, subject, and whether or not they go to college, the correct answer is 1 quant and 3 categorical. Wrong answer is 4 quant. Wrong answer is 2 quant with 2 categorical. And wrong answer is 2 quant with 1 categorical. And wrong answer is 2 quant and 3 categorical. So what we're trying to make happen here is, regardless of what prompt they get, we've got 1 correct answer and 4 wrong answers. So I'm just going to check these last 2 real quick to make sure this behavior is what we want. And I could be doing this in the merge, but I wanted to do it here first. So again, if they get prompt 3, that's age, number of years, subject, age, number of years, subject, and whether they go to college. So that's 2 and 2 is the correct answer. Missed one right there. That's 2 and 2 for the correct answer. 4 quant for wrong. 2 and 1 is another wrong. 2 and 3 is another wrong. And 1 and 3 is another wrong. So I think we've got that working correctly. But now there's one more thing we need to randomize. First of all, let me change this back to a rand between 1 and 4. And now we're going to do this all the way down the page so that everyone gets a different prompt and a different set of answers. Now, one more thing we have to do. Right now, this is always making answer A the correct answer. We need that for later on when we create a unique key for each student. So now we're going to randomly decide the order in which they see these distractors. So 1 rand A, 1 rand B, 1 rand C, 1 rand D, 1 rand E. So I'm going to go a little bit slow through this because we're going to do this process for all of these questions. So far up here, we've randomly decided something about the prompt and what the 5 distractors should be. And now we're choosing a random number. And here's what we're going to do with that random number. We're going to say 1A display, 1B display. So this is going to control which answer they actually see in each spot, so that the correct answer is not always going to be answer A. So here's what we're going to do. We want to find the rank of the random number that's in spot L2. The rank of L2 within L2 through P2. Of L2 in L2 through P2. So that's the 4th biggest number. Okay, that's okay. And then again, it's the 4th biggest number, only that one is smaller. Here's the 3rd biggest number. That one's smaller and that one's smaller. And just making sure this randomization is working okay. 2nd biggest number, only that one is bigger. Okay, so then what we're going to do with the rank of that random number is we're going to grab, using the index function, we're going to grab from the answer choices, which are in G2 through K2, we're going to grab row number 1 and then column number based on the rank of the random number. So let's go through this. We chose 5 random numbers here. This one's the biggest, this one is the 2nd biggest, and in L is the 3rd biggest. So that means what we're going to display for answer choice A is going to be answer choice C over here. So that's the 2 quant. You notice that says 2 quant and this says 2 quant over here. Okay. And then now what parts of that do we want to remain the same? We want this to always be looking in G through K, and we want this to always be looking in L through P. So now I can copy that and paste, and let me show you what that accomplishes by pasting it up here into Notepad. Okay, so this student got prompt number 2. Prompt number 2, let me do this, and this, and this, and this. Okay, then these random numbers we don't really care that much about. And then this, and this, and this. This will be a lot easier to see once we do the mail merge. But I wanted you to see the nuts and bolts of how this works. So this student randomly got prompt 2, which is age, gender, favorite school, and whether or not they go to college. So that's 1 quant and 3 categorical is the correct answer. Our distractors are 4 quant, 2 quant with 2 categorical, 2 quant with 1 categorical, and 2 quant with 3 categorical. Then we pick 5 random numbers to randomize the order. And in this case, this first random number was the highest, so that means answer A that we display is going to match answer A up here. So let me put A, B, C, D, and E. So answer A that we're going to display to the kids will actually match answer A from our choices. But now for answer B, this random number here is the smallest. So that means what we're going to display as answer B is actually going to be answer E from the choices above. Notice 2 quant and 3 cat, and up here 2 quant and 3 cat. This number here that was randomly chosen is the 4th smallest. So that means in this spot here, we're going to put answer D, and so on. So again, that'll be much easier to see when we do a mail merge. So let me copy all of this and then go down like this, and then make sure this is saved. So this is Chapter 1 test retake randomized. So that's saved. Now we're going to close that and start a Word document. Okay, just literally starting off as a blank Word document, Chapter 1 test retake, and I'll clean up the formatting and everything later on. Problem 1. Problem 1 is going to start off looking like problem 1 from the paper version of the test. So problem 1 is going to look like this. At the beginning of the school year, a high school teacher asks every student in her classes to fill out a survey that asks for space, and then the rest of that sentence will be taken from the spreadsheet. So then another space, which of the following best describes the variables that are being measured. And then I'm going to do answer A, and then I don't like the big space. This is just me personally. I don't like the big space between A and B. So I do a Shift Enter to get them a little bit closer. Instead of just hitting Enter, I hit Shift Enter. And then after the last one, I'll hit Enter. Up here somewhere, I'm going to say student name for right there. And then now we're ready to do the merge. So first of all, let's save this. And I'm going to save it in my Chapter 1 folder. So this is Chapter 1 test retake merge. Okay, and then I'm going to go to mailings and start mail merge, and step by step I'm going to leave that as letters, go to the next step. I'm going to use the current document, go to the next step. I'm going to select the spreadsheet that I was just working on that's also in my Chapter 1 folder, Chapter 1 test retake randomized. And I want my data from sheet 1 for now, but that's going to change later on, but that's okay. And bam. Okay. Then the student, we will go to the next step down here. For student, I'm just going to put their first name so that everybody can't see their last names. And then right here, we're going to put the prompt. So this is going to be one prompt gets inserted there. And then for answer A, that's going to be 1A display. And then for answer B, that's going to be 1B display. And for answer C, that's going to be 1C display. And for answer D, that's going to be 1D display. And for answer E, that's going to be 1E display. Okay, then I'm going to click Next. And here's where we hopefully get to see the magic. So first student, at the beginning of the school year, high school teacher asks every student in class to fill out a survey that asks for their age, gender, number of years, and their favorite subject, and whether they plan to go to college after high school. Which of the following best describes the variable to be measured? So this student got age, gender, number of years. So that's 2 quant, gender, favorite subject. So this is 2 quant and 3 categorical, which the correct answer is going to be B. And notice all of the other answers are different. They are not, none of the other answers are 2 quant and 3 categorical. And what I really like about this, if the students try to collaborate, is that this student gets 2 quantitative and 3 categorical for their correct answer, and that correct answer is going to be incorrect. That's going to be one of the wrong distractors for somebody else's problem. And then if we go to recipient 2, so they're getting age, gender, number of years at their current address, favorite subject, and whether they plan to go to college. So this student is getting the same prompt randomly, which is also going to be 2 quant and 3 categorical. So that's kind of bizarre. This is a 1 out of 20 chance, or a 1 out of 16 chance that this person got, no, 1 out of 20 chance. This person got the same prompt, and the correct answer is also showing up in spot B. Let's go to recipient 3. So this person got age, gender, favorite school subject, and whether they plan to go to college. So the only thing quantitative is the age. So they've got 1 quant and 3 categorical, which is, so this person's correct answer is showing up in E. And you notice that answer we saw before that was 2 quant and 3 categorical, that's now one of this student's wrong answers, but also it's showing up in a different spot than it showed up before. So this is the randomization of problem 1 for every student. So I feel like that part of this has happened successfully. Now, I'm not going to talk right this second about how to do the merge, but that's how to do one problem randomly. If you watch the next video, I will continue doing the rest of the test. Not all of the problems are this involved. Some of the problems are going to go much quicker than this, but some of the problems are also going to be more involved than this. So, but this is a good start at how to randomize one problem on the test. And actually, I might go back up here, format this a little bit just to make it a little prettier. Okay, so stay tuned for the next video for how we do the randomization of problem number 2.